It begins in the still hours of the night. The world outside is quiet, but within a storm brews. A woman lies awake in bed, the ceiling above her blurring into shadows as her mind spins with numbers, bills, unpaid debts, stacking the silent dread of tomorrow's expenses. She calculates and recalculates as though wringing her mind could wring gold from the air. And yet, no matter how she twists the figures, the sum remains the same, not enough. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, how many extra shifts you take, how many strategies you chase, it never seems to be enough? That invisible weight pressing on your chest, making each breath shallow, comes not only from the numbers on the page, but from the gnawing suspicion that you are somehow failing, that perhaps others know some secret you do not, that maybe wealth belongs to them, not to you. And so the cycle continues. You tell yourself, if I just work harder, if I just get smarter, if I just meet the right person, if I just make fewer mistakes. The inner bargain whispers that somewhere out there the missing piece will be found. You imagine a finish line, but each time you near it, it moves further away. But what if the struggle isn't about what you do at all? What if it isn't about how many hours you labor, or how clever your plan, or how perfectly you please others? What if the struggle has never been about your actions, but about your consciousness? Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman who dared to speak divine truth into a world gripped by lack, declared with unwavering clarity, "Your word is your wand." She revealed that man does not live by effort alone, but by alignment with law, the inner law of belief, spoken through word, felt through consciousness, demonstrated through life. Imagine for a moment that you stand before a locked door. You press against it, you pull at it, you throw your shoulder into it. Hours pass, muscles ache, but the door does not open. Then, at last, someone whispers, "There is a key." The struggle was not in your strength, but in your ignorance of the law. Once you hold the key, the door opens with ease. So it is with money. The sleepless nights, the endless striving, the haunting sense of never enough, all of it is born not from your lack of effort, but from lack of understanding of the inner law. You have been pounding on a door when all along the key has been waiting in your hand. Let us pause here. Take a breath. Feel the stillness. Ask yourself, what if I have been carrying the key all along? What if wealth is not a prize to be chased, but a door to be unlocked? The truth is simple, though the world resists it. Wealth is not created by sweat alone, nor by accident, nor by the charity of others. Wealth begins in consciousness. Your outer world is but a reflection of your inner word. What you speak, what you affirm, what you believe, this is the law that shapes your supply. Shinn did not flatter the ego with promises of shortcuts. She unveiled instead the deeper principle: the struggle is misunderstood. For the battlefield is not your job, not your bank, not your debts. The battlefield is your mind. And victory comes not through grinding effort, but through alignment with the inner law. So tonight, as you imagine that woman staring into the dark ceiling, remember she is not alone. We all have been her. We have all whispered the silent cry, "What am I missing?" But from the depths of that cry rises the seed of revelation. You are missing nothing. You are only awakening. And now the invitation is before you to step beyond the struggle, to release the false bargain of "if I just work harder," and to claim the wand of your word. For the word spoken with faith is the seed of supply. But the question remains, if effort is not the cause, then what is? If the struggle is not about what you do, then what must change? But what if the struggle isn't about what you do, but about what you feel? Subscribe to stay updated with new relaxing videos and support this channel so we can continue creating peaceful content to help you rest and recharge. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this: a gardener kneels in the soil at dawn. The earth is quiet, empty, untouched. No fruit hangs from the branches, no flowers bloom in sight. Yet with faith as gentle as the morning sun, he places seeds into the ground. He waters, he nurtures, he waits. Though he sees no evidence, he feels the truth. The harvest is already on its way. He knows the blossoms exist, though his eyes cannot yet behold them. This is the paradox of wealth. What you feel within must come before what you hold without. To most minds, this sounds backward, even dangerous. The world insists earn more, save more, work more. Only then may you feel secure, then may you rest, then may you know abundance. But Florence Scovel Shinn dismantled that illusion with one radiant truth: man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. Pause and let that sink in. She did not say, man can only receive what he earns, nor man can only receive what others give him. She said, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. That is what he envisions, what he feels, what he embraces in consciousness. Think of the countless hours spent chasing after money as though it were an unruly child to be caught. Think of the countless schemes, budget strategies, all noble in their place, but powerless without the root of identity. For what is money but energy clothed in form, and what is energy but consciousness made visible? The paradox is this: you must feel wealthy before money arrives. You must claim abundance inwardly before it reflects outwardly. It is not the bank balance that grants the feeling of wealth. It is the feeling of wealth that births the bank balance. Consider the story of David, a man who had lived most of his adult life under the shadow of scarcity. He grew up hearing his parents argue over every penny. By the time he reached his 30s, he carried that same soundtrack into his own home, checking his bank account 3 times a day, feeling dread at every unexpected expense. Despite working long hours, promotions never seemed to stick, opportunities slipped through his fingers, and even when money came, it vanished swiftly. One evening, a friend handed him a worn book of Shinn's teachings. Skeptical, David began to read, and one phrase ignited his heart. Your supply is inexhaustible and unfailing when your word is charged with faith. Something stirred in him. For the first time, he considered that wealth might not be earned through sweat alone, but through a shift of identity. David decided to try an experiment. Each morning before checking his bank account, he spoke aloud. I am supplied. I am wealthy. Money flows to me with ease. At first, the words felt hollow, like lines from a play he did not yet believe. But slowly, like the gardener tending the soil, he nurtured the seed of feeling. He practiced standing taller, breathing deeper, walking as though he were already abundant. Weeks passed, and a strange thing occurred. An old colleague reached out with a business opportunity. A bill he dreaded was unexpectedly reduced. His boss, unprompted, acknowledged his efforts and offered him a raise. David's outer world began to bend toward the inner identity he was cultivating. The money did not create the feeling. The feeling created the money. This is the law. It is as certain as gravity, though invisible to the eye. The world may laugh, may scorn, may call it naive, but the wise know consciousness precedes form. Feeling first, wealth second. Repeat it with me slowly. Feeling first, wealth second. Feeling first, wealth second. Feeling first, wealth second. Let the rhythm of these words sink into your bones like a drumbeat of truth, calling your cells to awaken. Now reflect, how many times have you said to yourself, "I'll feel safe when the money comes. I'll feel free when the debt is gone. I'll feel worthy when I can afford the life I dream of." But the law cannot be reversed. Waiting for proof before you permit the feeling is like waiting for the harvest before you plant the seed. It is not the way of nature nor of spirit. The gardener does not demand to see the flower before planting. He trusts. He feels the harvest before it is visible. He lives in the unseen certainty that the invisible becomes visible. So it must be with you. Yes, the paradox feels radical. Yes, it defies the conditioning of the world. But what has the world's conditioning offered you except endless striving? Perhaps it is time to lay down the whip of effort and pick up the wand of word and feeling. Shinn taught infinite spirit is never too late. It always arrives on time. To feel abundance now is not to delude yourself. It is to align yourself with a timeless supply that always was, always is, always shall be. So I ask you, what would it feel like if wealth were already yours? Not next month, not next year, but now. Would your shoulders relax? Would your breath deepen? Would you laugh more easily? Would you walk into a room with quiet confidence, no longer seeking approval, no longer begging for permission? Breathe into that. Feel it now. Wealth is not a distant goal. It is a present identity. This is the first radical shift we must accept. Feeling is cause, money is effect. When you feel abundance, you call it forth. When you embody wealth, you magnetize wealth. You need not wait another day. You may step into the paradox now to feel first and let the harvest follow. Picture this: it's early morning, the sun barely risen, and you reach for your phone before you even rise from bed. You open your banking app, your heart thudding. The numbers glow on the screen, and instantly your mood shifts. Relief if the balance is higher than you expected. Panic if it is lower. Your entire sense of well-being hinges upon digits on a screen. Have you ever noticed how quickly your emotions rise and fall with money's movements? One moment you feel secure, the next you feel anxious, as though your soul were tethered to numbers beyond your control. This is the trap of conditional feelings, the belief that you can only feel safe, free, or abundant after the evidence appears. We tell ourselves, "I'll feel happy when the bills are paid. I'll feel confident when I get the raise. I'll feel abundant when the debt is gone." But Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings reveal the flaw in this logic. By chaining your emotions to outer conditions, you become a prisoner of scarcity. You place yourself in reaction, not creation. It is as though you are living as a thermometer, merely reflecting the temperature around you. When the balance is high, you rise. When the balance is low, you fall. But true mastery, true wealth consciousness, is to be the thermostat, to set the temperature, to generate the feeling regardless of conditions, and in doing so, command the outer world to follow. Think of Sarah, a young mother constantly worrying over expenses. Each payday, her relief was temporary. Within days, the dread returned. She admitted that her joy was fleeting, fragile, tied to something outside her control. Then, in study of Shinn's words, she discovered a new way. She began practicing unconditional wealth feeling each morning before checking her bank account. She spoke, "I am safe. I am supplied. I am rich in every way." At first, it felt like pretending, but as she repeated, her nervous system softened. She no longer spiraled when unexpected expenses arose. Instead, she held fast to the feeling of abundance, and almost magically, things began to shift. Opportunities opened. Money arrived from sources she had not expected. What changed? Not the world first, but her feeling. We must understand conditional feelings create a vicious cycle. If you say, "I'll feel abundant when money comes," you are postponing the very state that magnetizes money. You are trying to harvest without planting. You are waiting for the outer to change before you allow the inner to shift. But the law works in reverse: inner first, outer second. Let's pause here. Ask yourself, how often have I given my power away to numbers on a screen? How often have I let the bank dictate my worth, my safety, my joy? These questions are not to condemn, but to awaken. For the truth is, you hold the power to feel abundance regardless of circumstance. Imagine wealth not as coins or bills, but as sunlight. The sun does not ask, "Shall I shine only if the world proves itself worthy?" No, it radiates unconditionally. So must your feeling of wealth be unconditional. Shine first, and the world reflects your light. Yes, it is a discipline. Yes, it feels strange at first. But so does planting a seed in barren soil. You trust not the soil as it appears, but the law that governs it. You trust the unseen growth. When you practice unconditional wealth feeling, you shift from desperation to certainty, from waiting to embodying. You no longer beg the world for proof. You declare the proof within, and life, obedient to your vibration, mirrors it back. So I invite you now, close your eyes. Imagine the number in your account does not matter. Imagine your sense of wealth does not depend on digits, debts, or deadlines. Instead, feel into the truth that abundance flows ceaselessly like a river, whether you see it or not. Can you breathe deeper? Can you smile softly? Can you claim it now? For there is another way. Beyond the trap of conditional feelings lies the freedom of unconditional wealth. And in that freedom, supply is no longer something to chase. It becomes something that chases you. If you've ever let your bank balance dictate your feelings, type, "I'm ready to break free." Close your eyes for a moment and picture a person who is wealthy, not just in money, but in spirit and presence. Notice how they move. Their steps are measured, not hurried. Their breathing is calm, even confident. There is a stillness about them, a quiet certainty, a knowing that they are in the flow of life and life is in harmony with them. Every gesture is unforced, every glance serene. This is the embodiment of wealth as identity. For too long, we have been told that wealth is action, work harder, climb the ladder, hustle endlessly. Yet Florence Scovel Shinn reminds us that wealth is being, not doing. You may strive all your life, yet remain empty if you have not claimed the identity first. A man can toil in factories, a woman can grind in offices, and yet without the inner sense of abundance, every achievement feels hollow, every promotion fleeting. Wealth begins in the soul. The wealthy identity is calm, confident, certain, not frantic, not grasping. It knows that life responds to the vibration of its holder. It does not ask, "Will there be enough?" because it already feels the fullness of supply. It does not beg. It commands by its mere presence. Imagine putting on a garment that perfectly fits, a coat woven of confidence, stitched with the threads of certainty. This is your inner garment of wealth. When you wear it, the world cannot help but respond. People respect you. Opportunities gravitate toward you. Money flows to you, not because you chase it, but because your identity radiates it. I want you to try this now. Stand, sit, or lie comfortably. Place your hand over your heart and feel the pulse there. Imagine it beating not only for your body, but for the limitless supply of the universe flowing through you. Repeat softly, "It's already mine. I am abundance. I am wealth." Do not rush. Do not judge. Feel these words sinking into your being. This is not pretending. This is becoming. Let me tell you a story, Anna. A woman in her 40s had long believed that she needed to earn approval, earn money, earn love. She chased job after job, seminar after seminar, hoping the next step would finally secure her peace. Yet each achievement felt like sand slipping through her fingers. Then she encountered Shinn's teaching. The subconscious accepts as true that which is spoken with authority and feeling. Anna decided to test this principle. Each morning before action, she embraced identity. She spoke aloud, "I am wealthy. I am calm. I am provided for." She visualized walking through her day as if these words were true, carrying herself with dignity, grace, and unshakable faith. Slowly, subtly, her reality transformed. Her work improved because she was no longer anxious. Her interactions drew the right people who recognized her calm certainty and responded in kind. Wealth came not because she forced it, but because she was it. Notice the difference. Before, Anna acted to become wealthy. Now she was wealthy, and her actions aligned naturally. The inner state created the outer manifestation. She no longer scrambled, no longer worried. She moved with the effortless grace of someone who knows the universe is in alignment with them. Wealth as identity asks you to do less and be more. It asks you to embody the calm, the certainty, the unwavering faith that supply is yours. It asks you to live from a place of abundance now, rather than waiting for evidence to validate it. Think of a wealthy person you know, not just in money, but in energy and presence. Notice their speech, their posture, their confidence. They do not constantly advertise their success. They simply radiate it. You are invited to step into that same state. You are invited to wear that inner garment, to carry yourself as a magnet for all the supply life has to offer. Here is your affirmation woven into your being. It's already mine. I am abundance. I am wealth. Speak it slowly. Feel it fully. Let it resonate through every cell, every fiber, every thought. Imagine that with each breath, you are inhaling abundance, exhaling doubt. And remember, this embodying wealth is not pretending. Pretending is hollow and temporary. Becoming is real and permanent. When you become wealth, your thoughts, words, and actions align naturally with the vibration of abundance. You do not chase, you attract. You do not strive, you receive. Picture the world bending to your vibration. Opportunities arrive unbidden. Support comes from unexpected places. Doors open that you did not even knock upon. Money flows as a reflection of your inner state, not as a reward for effort. You may wonder, how long will this take? Must I practice daily? The answer is simple: as long as it takes to convince the subconscious mind. Repetition, feeling, embodiment, these are your tools. Like planting a seed in fertile soil, consistency nurtures growth. Soon the outer world cannot help but mirror the inner reality. Now take a moment and visualize your life as if wealth is already yours. Walk down the street. Observe the world's response. Hear the conversations you have. Feel the confidence in your interactions. Notice the ease with which abundance flows. Stay in this feeling. Let it saturate your mind, body, and spirit. this is not a distant dream. This is your birthright. When you embrace wealth as identity, not action, the universe honors it. You have no need to struggle. You have no need to chase. You simply be, and life mirrors your inner state with faithful precision. Step into this truth today. Let your identity radiate wealth in all forms. Allow the inner garment to become your second skin. And as you do, notice the subtle shifts, the gentle miracles, the synchronistic flows that confirm the law being precedes doing. Feeling precedes having. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, the life within you, and recognize a profound truth. Abundance is your divine inheritance. Not something to beg for, not something to toil endlessly to earn, but a birthright bestowed upon you the moment you came into being. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded us that the universe is not stingy, it is lavish. The law of supply is infinite, and you as a child of this vast universe are entitled to partake fully. Many of us grow up believing that wealth is earned through struggle. Work hard, pay your dues, then maybe you'll be rewarded, we hear. But Shinn's wisdom reveals that such thinking is a subtle form of limitation. Abundance is not a prize to be won. It is a state to be claimed. It flows naturally to those who know themselves as worthy. This is not ego, it is truth. You are born to receive, to enjoy, to experience life in its fullest expression. Consider the innocence of a child born into a family of means. A wealthy parent does not sit the child down and say, "You must work tirelessly for everything you touch." The child is allowed to receive. Gifts arrive. Comfort is provided. The child does not argue for provision. It is simply given naturally, unconditionally. That is the way of the universe. Supply is always ready, always flowing, always abundant. And yet guilt and unworthiness cloud our perception. I don't deserve this. I haven't earned it. Others need it more than I do. These are illusions, constructs of fear, not reality. Abundance does not come at the expense of others. It is an inexhaustible stream. Claiming your divine right does not deprive another. It simply honors the law of life. Let us speak together. Wealth is my birthright. Supply is always flowing. I am worthy of every blessing. Feel the vibration of these words deep within your being. Let them sink into your subconscious where they can do their transformative work. Let them dissolve any lingering resistance, any shadow of doubt. Imagine a vast ocean stretching beyond the horizon. Its waters are limitless, inexhaustible, ever renewing. Your access to this ocean of supply is immediate and complete. No gatekeeper stands between you and abundance. No measure of merit limits your intake. It is yours not because you deserve it, but because you are life itself, and life is inherently abundant. Think of the law you do not have to struggle to create. You only have to align. Alignment begins in identity, in feeling, in knowing that you are inherently provided for. The moment you accept this, the world responds. Doors open, ideas flourish, opportunities appear as if summoned by your recognition of rightful abundance. Consider this story. Thomas, a man trapped in a cycle of financial stress, came to realize he had been living in constant lack because he had never claimed his right to abundance. Every effort he made was tinged with anxiety, fear, and the unspoken belief that he had to prove himself worthy. When he embraced Shinn's principle that supply is his divine inheritance, everything shifted. He began each day with the affirmation, "I am a child of the infinite. Wealth flows to me freely and abundantly." Within weeks, opportunities appeared that had previously eluded him. A promotion, unexpected gifts, and creative ideas blossomed all because he had recognized the truth of his birthright. Abundance is never earned, it is claimed. You do not need to fight for it, negotiate for it, or prove your worthiness. You only need to step into the awareness of your inherent right. Like a king or queen taking the throne that has always been theirs, you occupy your place of wealth by conscious acknowledgement. Now breathe again and feel the subtle shift within. Imagine releasing every last vestige of struggle, every limiting belief, every sense of lack. Picture yourself standing tall, receiving the universe's gifts with grace and ease. Supply is flowing, opportunities abound, joy expands. You are a magnet for the prosperity that is your divine inheritance. Even more, recognize that abundance is not only financial, it is health, creativity, love, peace, and joy. When you claim your divine right, all areas of your life reflect this fullness. You are supplied in every sense. You are whole. You are complete. Let the following affirmation wash over you now. Slowly, deliberately, I claim my divine right to abundance. Wealth flows to me in every way. I am deserving. I am worthy. I am supplied. Repeat it in your mind, feel it in your heart, and notice the lightness, the liberation, the certainty that accompanies this knowing. You are not asking, you are not hoping, you are claiming. And as you claim, the law obeys. The universe bends, arranges, and delivers. Synchronicity replaces struggle. Flow replaces friction. Life becomes effortless as it was always meant to be. Now that we understand that wealth is identity and that abundance is our divine inheritance, let us prepare to plant this identity into the deepest soil of the mind. Like a seed nurtured with water, sunlight, and care, the truth of your identity and your birthright will grow, blossom, and bear fruit. This is the next step: conscious alignment with the infinite law of supply. Hold this image in your mind, a garden rich and fertile where seeds of thought and feeling are sown. Each affirmation, each inner knowing, each embrace of your right to abundance is a seed planted deeply. Water it daily with belief, shine sunlight upon it with feeling, and watch as the outer world mirrors the inner harvest. You are the gardener, the soil, the sun, and the rain all at once. Take a final moment here. Feel the liberation, the joy, the certainty of your divine right. Know that wealth is already yours, not someday, not after struggle, but here and now in this very moment. You are a child of the infinite, deserving, capable, and supplied. Let us step gently now into one of the most sacred doors of manifestation, the doorway between wakefulness and sleep. It is here in this twilight state that the subconscious opens itself like soft soil, waiting for a seed. And what we plant here night after night grows into the towering tree of our reality. The mind has two guardians: the conscious with all its doubts, logic, and chatter, and the subconscious, vast, receptive, obedient. The conscious is like the guard at the gate. The subconscious is the fertile garden inside the walls. Most of the day, the guard is strong, alert, questioning every command. But as you drift into drowsiness, that guard begins to nod, to lower its weapon, to fade into slumber. In that sacred interval, what you whisper passes directly into the soil of your being. Resistance is bypassed. The seed is planted. Think of it like this: if you tried to plant a seed on hard, dry ground, it would resist, bounce away, refuse to take root. That is the conscious mind in its full alertness. But when the ground is soft, when it has just been watered, the seed slides in easily, ready to grow. That softness, that yielding is the state you pass through every night as you fall asleep. And so the nighttime ritual becomes not just rest, but reprogramming. Your bed becomes your altar. Your pillow becomes your sanctuary. Your breath the chant that carries the command of a new destiny. Picture this with me. You are lying down. The lights are dim. The world is quiet. The last words you speak, the last thoughts you entertain are not of worry or lack. No, they are phrases of wealth, of certainty, of safety. You drift into sleep as if already carried in the arms of abundance, and your subconscious, faithful servant that it is, records this as truth. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Your word is your wand." But when spoken at the doorway of sleep, your word becomes not only a wand, but a key unlocking chambers within that reshape your identity itself. Pause for a moment. Imagine planting a rose garden. If you plant roses, you expect roses, not thorns, not weeds. Yet how many of us go to bed planting weeds? Thoughts of debt, words of worry, pictures of fear. And then weeks later, we look at the garden of our lives and wonder why weeds have grown. The answer is simple. We planted them without knowing. But tonight, you will choose differently. Tonight, you will plant wealth. Let me guide you. Close your eyes now, even as you listen. Let your shoulders soften. Let your breath deepen. Feel the bed cradle you like the earth itself, and silently repeat within, I am wealthy. I am safe. Money flows to me as I sleep. Do you feel how different that is from the old ritual of worry? Do you feel the peace it carries? This peace is not laziness, not denial. It is the soil of creation. For the subconscious is not moved by effort. It is moved by feeling, by repetition, by image. This is why drowsiness is so sacred. The body is unwinding. The mind is loosening. You are neither here nor there, but in between. And in that in between, the subconscious listens like a child, listening for a bedtime story. And whatever story you tell, it believes. So tonight, when you lie down, I want you to imagine money arriving as naturally as the sun rising. Imagine opening an envelope with the exact amount you desire. Imagine your phone lighting up with a deposit. Imagine yourself breathing deeply, knowing it is already done. You do not beg for it. You do not chase it. You simply declare it as already yours. Here is where we impress the phrase that changes everything. Whisper softly, as I sleep, wealth multiplies. My subconscious works for my good. I rest in abundance and I rise in abundance. Let these words sink in. They are seeds. They will not vanish in the night. They will root. They will sprout. They will grow. Now, I want to share with you a story. Years ago, there was a woman who longed to transform her financial reality. Each night, she would lie in bed heavy with worry, rehearsing unpaid bills in her mind. And as the months passed, her life only seemed to mirror her thoughts. Scarcity deepened. Then one evening, she read these words, "Never go to sleep with a picture of lack. The last thought of the day molds the dream of the night." She decided to try. That night, she spoke gently to herself, "I am wealthy. My bank account is full. I am cared for." She felt silly at first, but she kept going. Night after night, she planted roses instead of weeds. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities arose. A job offer, a check in the mail, relief. Her garden had changed because her planting had changed. The question is not whether this works. The question is whether you will commit to the ritual. Because the subconscious always obeys. It cannot choose. It cannot filter. It only takes what you hand it. If you give it weeds, it grows weeds. If you give it roses, it grows roses. What will you give it tonight? Let us pause here for interaction. If you have ever gone to sleep worrying and seen that same worry reflected in your next day comment. 1. If you are ready to begin this practice tonight, planting wealth instead of lack, comment 2. This is your declaration to yourself and to the universe. The ritual begins now. Now, let us deepen the metaphor. Imagine your subconscious as a great field stretching beyond what your eyes can see. Every thought, every phrase, every image is a seed. Most people scatter weeds unknowingly, but you are now the conscious gardener. Each evening, you take the finest seeds of wealth, gratitude, joy, and you place them into the soil with care, and then you let go. You do not dig up the soil to check if the seed has sprouted. You trust. You rest. For the seed grows in the unseen before it grows in the seen. This is why surrender is essential. Peace, safety, release. You do not need to force the subconscious. You only need to impress it. And impression is gentle, like pressing a signet ring into wax. Once pressed, the mark remains. Tonight, when your eyes grow heavy, remember this is the gateway. This is the hour when resistance is low and power is high. Instead of scrolling through worries or rehearsing what went wrong, you will plant what is right. Instead of fearing tomorrow, you will declare tomorrow. Instead of lack, you will choose wealth. Say with me now, I plant wealth as I sleep. My night is my garden. My subconscious receives and multiplies. Feel how those words rest inside you, not as effort, not as struggle, but as truth. The old way was to drift into unconscious worry. The new way is to drift into conscious wealth. And when you awaken in the morning, the world you meet will reflect the planting you chose. So let this be your ritual from tonight onward. As you close your eyes, breathe deeply 3 times. Whisper the phrase of wealth you choose. See yourself already in possession of it. Feel peace, and then surrender into sleep. That is all. Gentle, simple, powerful. And remember, it is not one night, but many. For the subconscious loves repetition. Each evening, you press the same impression deeper and deeper until the soil has no choice but to produce fruit. This is the sleep gateway. This is the altar of the night. And here you are not a beggar, hoping for wealth. You are a gardener planting it night after night until your entire life blossoms with the fragrance of abundance. There is a simple yet profound truth that the universe waits for you to embrace. You cannot manifest what you do not assume. Not hope, not wish, not maybe someday, but the calm, unshakable declaration that says, it's already mine. Let us pause for a moment and let that phrase resonate. Say it softly in your mind, it's already mine. Feel the rhythm of the words, the weight of certainty in each syllable. Notice how your body subtly responds. Perhaps your chest lifts. Perhaps your spine straightens. Perhaps your shoulders drop and a quiet confidence settles where anxiety once lived. This is no accident. Your body is the first witness of your new identity. The subconscious, ever attentive, takes note. It recognizes truth. And the truth is, when you assume it, it is done. Think of it this way. You walk up to a house. The door is locked. You do not knock. You do not plead. You simply insert the key. Why? Because the key already fits. The house is yours. The universe operates in the same manner. The key is assumption. The door opens because you believe it opens. You claim it before you see it. because the seeing is merely a confirmation of what is already true. Most people wait. They wait for evidence. They wait for opportunity. They wait for the world to tell them, yes, you may have this. But the laws of manifestation do not operate in the realm of waiting. They operate in the realm of assuming. The instant you claim it's already mine, the universe shifts. The proof appears later. Not before, later. Let me share a story. There was a man named Thomas. He desired a sum of money sufficient to pay off his debts and launch his new business. Every day he worried. Every day he calculated, strategized, and hoped. But nothing moved. Then one night, while reading about the power of assumption, he tried something new. He went to bed and whispered repeatedly, "It's already mine." He imagined checking his bank account. He imagined receiving the calls, the contracts, the checks. And he did not doubt. He assumed it. Within days, the first contract came through. Then a client unexpectedly increased their payment. Within a month, his debts were cleared. All because he had ceased asking, ceased hoping, ceased negotiating with reality. He had simply assumed. And in that assumption, he had unlocked what he had been seeking all along. You see, assumption is the bridge between desire and reality. It is the magnet that draws the unseen into the seen. When you say, "It's already mine," you are speaking to the invisible forces of the universe, and they respond to certainty, not wishfulness. Now let us practice. Sit quietly, close your eyes if you wish. Place a hand over your heart. Breathe deeply. Feel the life force moving through you. And now say to yourself, "It's already mine. Money flows to me effortlessly. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am deserving." Repeat these words slowly, rhythmically, allowing them to settle into the deepest parts of your mind. Let them roll like a gentle wave over the shore of your consciousness. It's already mine. It's already mine. It's already mine. Notice the subtle shifts. Perhaps a lightness in your chest. Perhaps a smile that appears without reason. Perhaps a quiet peace. This is the subconscious recognizing truth. It has no choice but to align with what you now accept as your reality. And yet, as with all new truths, a test will come. The external world may not immediately reflect your assumption. Bills will appear. Emails will come. Friends may express doubt. This is natural. This is the world testing the strength of your new identity. Will you remain loyal to the truth you have assumed? Or will you falter and return to hope, worry, or impatience? The choice is yours. Consider the story of Maya, a woman who longed for financial independence. She assumed abundance, nightly whispering, "It's already mine," as she drifted into sleep. Yet 3 days in, she saw no change. No new clients, no unexpected windfalls. Frustration crept in. Many would have given up. But she remembered the law is not measured by appearances. She repeated her mantra with renewed vigor each night, affirming, "It's already mine." By the end of the week, an unexpected gift arrived, a check in the mail from an old friend. It was not the total sum she had imagined, but it was the universe's way of confirming that her assumption had been heard. She remained loyal, and within a month, her financial situation shifted dramatically. This is the law of assumption. External evidence lags behind internal truth. You assume, and then you watch the world rearrange itself to confirm what you already know. Let us anchor this now with an exercise in visualization. Close your eyes. See yourself holding the exact amount of money you desire. Hear the sound of the cash, the ping of notifications, the rustle of bills. Feel the texture of the check, the smoothness of coins, the weight of abundance in your hands. Imagine your relief, your joy, your gratitude, and say to yourself again, it's already mine. Feel the certainty, feel the ownership. It is yours not tomorrow, not in the future, but now. Repeat this practice daily at night or in the morning, whenever you need to reinforce your new identity. Each repetition carves deeper grooves in your subconscious mind. Each repetition strengthens the bridge between your desire and your reality. The subconscious does not argue, it only obeys. And when it obeys, the external world cannot help but follow. Notice how your words shift your posture, your energy rises, your shoulders lift, your chest opens, your voice changes when you speak. You carry yourself differently because the identity within you has changed. You are no longer someone wishing for wealth. You are someone who possesses it. You are the key holder. You are the owner. The phrase, "it's already mine," is more than a statement. It is a vibration. It is a frequency. It aligns you with the energy of abundance, the energy of effortless flow, the energy of ownership. Repeat it often. Repeat it until it no longer feels like a mantra, but a statement of reality. Until your subconscious knows that it is no longer an aspiration, but a fact. Pause now. Feel this in your body. Feel it in your mind. Feel it in your energy. Let your identity shift. Let the old self, the self of lack, worry, and hesitation dissolve. Replace it with the confident, wealthy self who knows it's already mine. Here is your call to action. Comment 1 if you have tried assumption before and witnessed its subtle or powerful effects. Comment 2 if you have not, but you are ready to begin assuming your wealth starting today. This simple act of declaring your commitment aloud is another way of impressing your subconscious mind and anchoring your new identity. Remember, the world will test you. The external world will often resist the truth you now carry, but remain loyal to your inner identity. Speak the phrase, "it's already mine," with unwavering faith. Visualize the wealth, feel the ownership, and allow the universe to arrange circumstances to match your inner truth. The door is open. The key is in your hand. You are simply stepping in. From this point forward, let every thought, every word, every visualization affirm the truth that wealth is not a hope, but a possession. That money does not come to you as a favor, but as a response to your inner decree. That the universe cannot help but respond to the vibration of certainty. And that the moment you assume it, your new life begins quietly at first, then unmistakably, until it manifests in forms you may never have imagined, but always deserved. It's already mine. It's already mine. It's already mine. Say it, feel it, live it, and watch how your reality bends, shifts, and aligns with the truth you now carry. There is a mysterious rhythm to manifestation, a rhythm that few recognize, a rhythm that moves faster than logic, faster than planning, faster than the external world can comprehend. This rhythm is called the 2-day shift. Yes, 2 days, 48 hours. That is often all it takes for the universe to respond when your wealth identity aligns fully with your inner truth. It is not effort. It is not struggle. It is truth, the truth that you are already wealthy, already abundant, already deserving. And when your mind, your body, and your subconscious echo this truth in unison, the external world cannot help but respond. Imagine it. You wake in the morning with a deep sense of calm. You have assumed it's already mine. You have visualized, felt, spoken, and believed. And then something subtle begins. A call, an email, a small, unexpected check. the first signs of a shift. Nothing grand yet, nothing overwhelming, just a whisper, a soft, quiet hint that reality is listening. This is the first day. The energy is building. The subconscious is aligning. The old self who doubted, fretted, and feared is quietly receding. And by the second day, things often accelerate. Opportunities appear as if by magic. A friend reaches out with an offer. A payment comes sooner than expected. A solution appears where there was only a problem. Not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because your inner reality, the identity of wealth you have planted and nurtured, has begun to assert itself in the external world. Let me tell you the story of Liam. Liam had long struggled with financial stagnation. He had read about affirmations, about assumption, about the power of imagination. He tried them half-heartedly, and nothing changed. One evening, he committed fully. He sat quietly, visualized the exact sum he needed to launch his business, whispered repeatedly, "It's already mine," and allowed himself to feel the relief and joy as if it were already in his hands. The next morning, Liam woke to an unexpected email. A potential client, one he had considered unreachable, expressed interest in his services. The day after, another opportunity arrived. Someone from a completely unrelated network offered financial support to kickstart his project. Within 48 hours, the tide had turned. He had shifted his external reality, not by effort, not by chasing, but simply by assuming the truth of his wealth identity. You see, the universe responds to truth, not effort. Your effort, while necessary in the old paradigm of struggle, is irrelevant in this new paradigm. What matters is the alignment of your identity with your desire. When you step fully into your wealthy self, when you act, breathe, and speak as someone who already possesses abundance, reality bends. The external world is compelled to confirm your inner truth. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. 48 hours. That seems impossible. My reality is complicated. My debts are large. My challenges are many. And yet it is precisely the simplicity of truth that triggers rapid manifestation. It bypasses the intricate logic of the mind, the limits of circumstance, and even the resistance of doubt. Here is an exercise for the 2-day shift morning declaration. Upon waking, repeat 3 times, "I am wealthy. I am abundant. It's already mine." Feel the words resonate through your entire body. Midday visualization. Take a quiet moment. Close your eyes. Picture the money you desire arriving. Hear the sounds, feel the textures, taste the freedom. Experience it fully. Evening affirmation. Before sleep, repeat again, "It's already mine." Imagine placing the money gently in your hands. Feel gratitude as if it were already here. Drift into sleep with this feeling. This triad of repetition, morning, midday, evening, impresses the truth upon your subconscious with unwavering clarity. 48 hours of consistent alignment often triggers a noticeable shift in your external reality. But there is more to the 2-day shift than just the arrival of money. There is an internal transformation as well. You begin to notice a new posture in your body, a new confidence in your voice, a new decisiveness in your choices. The nervous system itself begins to rewire. You no longer react from scarcity, fear, or anxiety. You respond from abundant certainty and calm power. The shift is both internal and external, personal and universal. Here is the subtle magic. Often the external world appears resistant for just a moment. Perhaps a payment is delayed. Perhaps a door seems closed. Perhaps nothing appears to have changed. This is natural. It is part of the testing phase, the brief tension before manifestation. And when you persist, remaining loyal to the truth of your wealthy identity, the shift completes itself. Opportunities that seemed impossible arrive almost effortlessly. The universe is simply catching up with the reality you have assumed. Consider this: the 2-day shift is not about speed, but about alignment. It is about clearing the mental, emotional, and subconscious blocks that slow manifestation. 2 days is often enough for the universe to recognize, this is the person who already owns this reality. Let us respond accordingly. Let us anchor this with another exercise. Close your eyes. Imagine you are holding your financial goal in your hands. Hear it. Imagine the subtle sounds that accompany it, the rustle of bills, the ping of notifications, the voice of someone confirming a deposit. Feel it. Allow the sensation of relief, freedom, and joy to wash through you. Your body remembers abundance as well as your mind does. Say it aloud or in your mind, "It's already mine." Do this for at least a few minutes twice daily, and allow yourself to witness the shift within 48 hours. Observe the subtle changes first, the unexpected call, the surprising email, the small windfall. These are the universe's way of confirming that your assumption has taken root. The 2-day shift is proof that wealth identity works faster than effort, faster than hope, faster than struggle. It is proof that when you step fully into the person who already possesses abundance, the external world cannot help but follow. And yet, just when the change begins, a test arrives. Perhaps it is a delay, a sudden challenge, a bill that seems insurmountable. This is not a sign of failure. It is the test of appearances, and it is your opportunity to cement your new identity, to stay loyal to the truth you have assumed, to let your inner certainty guide your external reality. The 2-day shift is exciting, almost magical, but it requires faith in the unseen, patience with appearances, and unwavering loyalty to your wealthy self. If you can meet this brief challenge, the doors of abundance swing wide open. The shift, once internal, begins to cascade outward, touching every area of your life. Pause now. Take a deep breath. Feel the tension of the old self release. Feel the joy of your wealthy self settle into your chest. Know this: your identity has shifted. Your reality is in motion. Your wealth is already manifesting. And in 48 hours, the first tangible signs will appear, confirming what your mind, heart, and soul already know. The 2-day shift is powerful. It is swift. It is undeniable. And yet, right after the first flickers of change appear, something curious often happens. The world, as if resisting, begins to look the same again. Payments stall. Emails go unanswered. Opportunities seem to evaporate. You look around and whisper, but nothing has changed. This is the test of appearances. It is not punishment. It is not failure. It is the final initiation. The storm before sunrise. The shadow before the dawn. It is the universe asking, will you remain loyal to your wealthy self, even when the mirror of the external world lags behind? Most people fail here. They assume wealth. They declare, "It's already mine." They even feel the first spark of change. And then, when appearances resist, they retreat. They drop their declaration. They abandon their wealthy self and return to worry. And in doing so, they uproot the very seed they planted. But those who pass this test, their reward is beyond measure. For once you prove your loyalty to your wealthy identity, appearances no longer bind you. You become untouchable by doubt, unshaken by delay. You move through life with the calm certainty of someone who knows the truth is already written. Let me tell you a story. There were two friends, Anna and Rachel. Both decided to use the power of assumption to call money into their lives. Both affirmed nightly, "It's already mine. I am wealthy. Abundance flows to me." Within 2 days, Anna received a small but unexpected refund check. She was thrilled. But by the 3rd day, when nothing else appeared, she grew restless. She looked at her empty inbox, her quiet phone, her unchanged bank account, and thought, maybe it didn't work. Maybe I imagined it. She abandoned her practice. The seed barely sprouted withered. Rachel, however, remained steadfast. She too felt disappointment on day 3. She too looked at the same empty inbox, the same quiet phone. But instead of doubting, she smiled. She whispered, "Appearances are nothing. I am wealthy. It is already mine." And she kept declaring, kept visualizing, kept planting roses where others planted weeds. By the end of the week, Rachel received a call from an old client offering her a lucrative project. A few days later, her relative surprised her with a generous gift. And within a month, her financial landscape had transformed. Not because she had worked harder, not because she had forced reality, but because she had passed the test. This is the difference. This is the line that separates those who taste the sweetness of manifestation from those who merely hope. The difference is loyalty. Think of the test of appearances like the sky before dawn. Just before the sun rises, the sky looks its darkest. Just before the breakthrough, the resistance feels strongest. Just before your new wealth identity fully anchors, the old identity fights to hold on. And yet, if you remain calm, if you remain steady, the sunrise always comes. Let us anchor this with affirmations of loyalty. Say them with me now aloud or silently. I stay with my wealthy self. I do not waver at appearances. I trust the unseen more than the seen. The truth is, I am wealthy. The world will catch up. Do you feel the power of those words? They are not wishful. They are loyal. They are declarations of allegiance to your wealthy identity, to your subconscious truth, to the abundance already pulsing toward you. Pause now. Take a breath. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain falls, the trees bend, and yet you remain still, calm, smiling. Why? Because you know the storm is temporary. You know the sun is already on its way. You know appearances cannot harm you. This is the posture of a master manifester. This is your posture. Here is the exercise for the test of appearances. When disappointment arises, pause. Breathe deeply. Acknowledge the feeling, but do not dwell in it. Speak loyalty affirmations. I stay with my wealthy self. I remain loyal to abundance. Appearances cannot deceive me. Visualize beyond the moment. Picture the outcome you desire as if it is already unfolding. Refuse to let temporary appearances blind you to eternal truth. Return to gratitude. Instead of focusing on what seems absent, give thanks for what is already present and for what is already on its way. By practicing this, you train your nervous system to remain calm in the face of illusion. You become unshakable, and in that unshakability, manifestation seals itself. Remember, the subconscious mind believes repetition more than appearances. Each time you repeat your wealthy identity, you carve deeper grooves in the soil of your being. Appearances may waver, but identity, when reinforced, becomes immovable. Here is another story. David had long desired financial freedom. He assumed wealth, visualized abundance, and felt genuine shifts in his energy. Then, just as opportunities began to arise, his car broke down. an unexpected expense of nearly $1,000. Old David would have panicked, fallen back into worry, declared the practice useless. But this time he remembered, this is the test of appearances. He calmly affirmed, even this is part of my wealth story. I am still wealthy. I am still abundant. This does not shake me. Within days, a friend referred him to a job that covered the expense and more. Within weeks, new income streams opened. The expense had only been the storm before the sunrise. David passed the test. So I ask you now, what storm are you willing to stand through? What appearance are you willing to ignore, knowing that your wealthy identity is stronger than any temporary illusion? Say it with me once more. I stay with my wealthy self. I remain loyal. Appearances cannot deceive me. This is the moment where most give up. But you are not most. You are loyal. You are steady. You are faithful to your wealthy identity. And because of that, your abundance is inevitable. Pass the test, and the shift is sealed. We have journeyed through the sleep gateway, through the power of assumption, through the 2-day shift, and through the test of appearances. Now we arrive at a deeper truth, one that is both mystical and scientific. Your wealthy identity literally rewires your brain and nervous system. This is not poetry. This is not metaphor alone. This is biology, neurology, physiology. The wealthy self is not just an idea. It is a state that your body learns, remembers, and reproduces. Let us imagine your brain for a moment. Inside are billions of neurons like rivers of electricity flowing through a vast landscape. Every thought you repeat, every affirmation you speak, every image you dwell upon carves a pathway, a groove like a river, cutting deeper into the earth. The more often the river flows, the deeper the channel becomes. Soon, the water has no choice but to follow that channel. This is your subconscious in action. If you have long repeated thoughts of lack, your brain has carved deep grooves of worry, fear, and scarcity. That is why the old self reacted so quickly to bills, to delays, to disappointments. The river was already flowing in that direction. But now you are carving new grooves. Each time you affirm it's already mine, each time you visualize abundance, each time you choose loyalty over appearances, you redirect the river. At first, it feels unfamiliar, even unnatural. But with repetition, the new groove deepens, the old groove dries, and soon the river of your thoughts flows effortlessly in the direction of wealth. This is not imagination alone. Neuroscience confirms it. Every repetition of thought releases chemicals in the brain. Every affirmation strengthens neural connections. Over time, your brain literally rewires itself to expect abundance instead of lack, to perceive opportunities instead of obstacles, to respond with calm instead of panic. And your nervous system follows. Think of how your body feels when you are in scarcity: shoulders, tight chest, heavy breath, shallow stomach tense. This is the body of someone who feels unsafe, and the body always mirrors the mind. Now imagine the body of someone who knows they are wealthy. Shoulders relaxed, spine tall, breath deep and steady, eyes bright, movements confident. The nervous system has shifted from survival to safety, from contraction to expansion, from fear to flow. This is why identity is so powerful. It is not just about thinking differently. It is about being differently. Your wealthy identity is not just a thought in your mind. It is a posture in your body, a rhythm in your breath, an energy in your aura. People can feel it. Opportunities respond to it. Money is drawn to it. Pause with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders, open your chest, smile gently, and say aloud or silently, I am safe in wealth. My body is safe in abundance. Notice how even a single phrase can shift the way your body feels. This is the nervous system rewire in action. Let me share a story. Sophia had lived in scarcity most of her life. Even as she began practicing affirmations, she noticed that her body betrayed her. Every time she said, I am wealthy, her stomach tightened. Her breath grew shallow. Her nervous system resisted the very wealth she was calling in. One day, she learned about the link between identity and the body. She decided to add a physical practice to her affirmations. Each morning, she stood before the mirror, placed a hand on her heart, breathed deeply 3 times, and said, I am safe. I am wealthy. My body trusts abundance. At first, it felt forced, but within weeks, she noticed her posture shifting, her breath deepening, her energy softening. And soon after, opportunities began to flow. A new client, a promotion, financial ease she had never experienced before. Why? Because her nervous system had finally agreed with her mind. She no longer carried the vibration of scarcity in her body. She had rewired herself for wealth. This is the fusion of science and spirituality. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that words are wands, that assumption shapes reality, that imagination plants seeds. Modern neuroscience shows us how affirmations carve neural pathways. Imagination strengthens brain circuits. Repetition rewires the nervous system. The two are not separate. They are one. Here is a daily practice to embody this truth mirror ritual. Each morning, stand before a mirror. Breathe deeply 3 times. Look into your own eyes and declare, I am safe in wealth. I am wealthy. My body trusts abundance. Posture. Reset. Throughout the day, whenever you catch yourself slumping or tensing, pause. Straighten your spine. Relax your shoulders. Take 1 slow breath. Repeat, I am safe in abundance. Evening release. Before sleep, place a hand on your heart. Whisper, I rest in wealth. My subconscious multiplies my abundance. Let your body feel the safety of wealth as you drift into sleep. Each of these steps not only reprograms your mind, but also retrains your nervous system. Soon, wealth becomes not just an idea, but a felt reality. Consider how you walk into a room when you feel wealthy versus when you feel poor. The wealthy identity enters with calm confidence, open body language, steady energy. People respond to that. Opportunities gravitate toward that. The nervous system itself radiates a frequency of safety that the world cannot help but mirror back. Pause again now. Imagine yourself walking through your day as your wealthy self. Feel the difference in your steps. Hear the difference in your voice. Notice the difference in your breathing. This is not fantasy. This is a nervous system rewire. Each time you embody it, you strengthen it. Each time you repeat it, you reinforce it. Until one day, it is no longer practice, it is who you are. Your wealthy identity is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is truth. The more you align your mind, your body, and your nervous system with this truth, the more unshakable it becomes. Scarcity may try to whisper, but your body will not respond. Doubt may try to creep in, but your nervous system will remain calm. You will no longer be pulled back into the old grooves of fear, because the river of your being now flows steadily toward abundance. This is the final step of part 2, planting wealth as identity, not just in the mind, but in the body. This is where science and spirit meet. This is where your wealthy self is no longer something you affirm, but something you embody. So say it one final time with me, I am safe in wealth. My body trusts abundance. I am rewired for prosperity. Feel it in your breath. Feel it in your posture. Feel it in your nervous system. This is who you are now. This is who you have always been beneath the old grooves of fear. And now the truth of your wealthy identity is sealed. Imagine this the moment you open your eyes. In the morning, you are already wealth, not becoming, not chasing, not waiting, already wealth. The wealthy identity does not begin with a paycheck, a bank statement, or a sudden windfall. It begins with breath, with presence, with the quiet knowing, I am supplied, I am supported, I am whole. When you rise in the morning, feel yourself not as someone reaching for abundance, but as someone who has never been without it. This changes the way your feet touch the floor. This changes the way you brush your teeth, the way you sip your morning water, the way you speak to the first person you see. Wealth is not loud. Wealth is not frantic. Wealth is not the scrambling of someone hoping to prove they have enough. Wealth is quiet, steady, assured. It is the deep resonance of a tuning fork that knows its note and hums without effort. You are that tuning fork. Your wealth identity vibrates through every cell, every choice, every gesture. Pause now and imagine your wealthy self waking. See yourself stretch not in tension, but in freedom. You rise from your bed not because an alarm drags you into obligation, but because life is already awaiting your presence with delight. You walk as one who belongs. You walk as one who is at home in every room, every space, every opportunity. When you speak with clarity, never rushing, never begging, never shrinking. Each word carries the energy of completion. You are not trying to persuade life to give you something it already has. You are not trying to impress anyone, it is already done. Wealth identity is practiced not in grand gestures, but in small, everyday choices. The way you sit at your desk, the way you order your food, the way you handle your bills. A person who identifies as wealth does not crumble in the face of numbers on a screen. They know numbers are shadows, reflections, momentary forms of something far greater. Infinite supply. Wealth is not faked. Faking is performance. Embodiment is essence. You are not putting on a mask of wealth. You are revealing the truth of who you already are. Take a breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Imagine your breath itself is golden, flowing in and out of you, carrying the rhythm of wealth. Even in the act of breathing, you are wealthy. Breath is free, endless, abundant, always arriving on time. So too is your supply. Now think of a simple choice today: how you greet a stranger, how you pay for your coffee, how you send an email. Each of these becomes infused with the wealthy identity. You choose generosity of tone. You choose patience of spirit. You choose clarity of mind. Because wealth is never hurried, never afraid, never clinging. Picture yourself at a store. Instead of reaching for the cheapest item out of fear, you select what aligns with your wealth identity. Not extravagance, not waste, but alignment. A wealthy identity asks, what resonates with who I am not? What can I barely manage? Picture yourself walking through your day with posture, lifted eyes, open heart, calm. People feel something around you. They may not know what it is, but they sense the vibration of someone who lives in completion. That vibration calls opportunities. That vibration draws new pathways. That vibration tunes the world around you to match your wealth. Wealth is not a performance for others. It is a frequency within yourself. And as you keep vibrating it, the outer world must eventually catch up. Say softly to yourself, I walk as wealth. I breathe as wealth. I speak as wealth. I choose as wealth. I live as wealth. Feel that in your body. Notice how your shoulders settle. Notice how your heart softens. Notice how your breath steadies. You are not rehearsing for a future day. You are being who you are today. Wealth has no date stamp. It is not waiting for Friday. It is not waiting for approval. It is here. And every small choice today is your declaration, this is who I am. Now let us deepen it with affirmations. If you can feel this daily embodiment, type, I live it now. Now that you have seen yourself walk, breathe, and move in the daily rhythm of wealth, let us anchor it with the power of words. For the word is the wand. The word is the decree. The word is the signal that summons the unseen into the seen. As you speak, these affirmations do not rush. Let each one rest upon you like sunlight warming your skin. You do not need to force belief. You simply allow the vibration to land, knowing that repetition writes upon the subconscious, and the subconscious always obeys. So breathe slowly. Open your chest. Place a hand upon your heart if you wish, and let us begin. I am supported. I am supplied. I am wealthy now. It is already mine. It has always been mine. I live in the fullness of wealth. Wealth surrounds me. Wealth flows to me. Wealth flows through me. I walk as wealth. I breathe as wealth. I speak as wealth. I choose as wealth. I live as wealth. Repeat them gently with me again and again, as if carving them into the very air. I am supported. I am supplied. I am wealthy now. Say it with a whisper. Say it with strength. Say it with certainty. It is already mine. It has always been mine. I live in the fullness of wealth. Let the rhythm carry you. Like waves on a shore, the affirmations return again and again, smoothing every rough edge of doubt. Wealth surrounds me. Wealth flows to me. Wealth flows through me. Feel it like a current, like a river. You are not a stagnant pond. You are a river alive with flow. Now imagine this: each time you say these words, they plant seeds in the soil of your being. And like any good seed, they do not sprout instantly. They take root quietly, invisibly, until one day they break through the surface, undeniable flourishing. Speak again, I walk as wealth. I breathe as wealth. I speak as wealth. I choose as wealth. I live as wealth. Feel how complete that is. Wealth is not an activity, it is your nature. Now we expand. I am in harmony with infinite supply. I am in rhythm with divine provision. Everything I require is already arranged. Everything I desire is already aligned. Opportunities come to me easily. Money arrives in perfect ways. I attract with ease because I am already it. I am never lacking. I am never late. I am always on time in divine order. Repeat slowly. I am in harmony with infinite supply. Again, I am in rhythm with divine provision. Pause. Let those words sink. Let them hum within you like that tuning fork we spoke of before. Your being resonates with wealth, and all that matches your note must find you. Now feel this next cycle. I am rich in love. I am rich in peace. I am rich in ideas. I am rich in opportunities. I am rich in money. Wealth is not only numbers in a bank. Wealth is wholeness. Wealth is fullness. Wealth is the song of having enough and more than enough in every area of life. Speak again, I am rich in love. I am rich in peace. I am rich in ideas. I am rich in opportunities. I am rich in money. Yes, breathe it in. Let it expand within your chest. Now let us strengthen it with call and response. I will speak the phrase. You repeat it after me in your mind or aloud if you can. I am supplied. You, I am supplied. I am supported. You, I am supported. I am wealthy now. You, I am wealthy now. It is already mine. You, it is already mine. It has always been mine. You, it has always been mine. Again, stronger this time, I am supplied. I am supported. I am wealthy now. It is already mine. It has always been mine. Feel how repetition shifts the energy. The first time your mind wonders. The second time your heart listens. The third time your spirit agrees. By the fourth and fifth, the words belong to you. Now imagine the words as golden threads weaving themselves into your aura, your energy field. Each affirmation is a luminous strand. The more you speak, the brighter your field becomes until you are clothed in light, wrapped in wealth, shining in supply. Say this now, I live in a field of wealth. I am surrounded by wealth. I radiate wealth. I attract wealth. I embody wealth. Say it again. Let it deepen. I live in a field of wealth. I am surrounded by wealth. I radiate wealth. I attract wealth. I embody wealth. Yes, the words have power because they are yours. Let us close this section softly. Wealth is my nature. Wealth is my state. Wealth is my home. I need not strive. I need not beg. I simply receive what has already been given. All is mine now. All is well now. All is complete now. These words live in you. Carry them as breath, as rhythm, as heartbeat. Transition out gently. These words have power because they are yours. If these words resonate, share. It's mine now in the comments. Wealth is not meant to be locked away, hidden, or hoarded. Wealth is alive. Wealth is movement. Wealth is circulation. Think of water. A river that flows is clear, fresh, life-giving. A pond that is cut off from movement becomes stagnant, murky, heavy. So, it is with wealth. The wealthy identity is not fearful of giving, for it knows that giving is never loss. Giving is flow. When you live as wealth, generosity becomes your natural language. You no longer clutch tightly, afraid of depletion. You release freely, knowing that as you give, you remain in rhythm with the eternal stream of supply. Pause now and imagine this. You are standing at the edge of a wide river. The current is strong, shimmering, endless. You dip your hands into the water. No matter how much you lift and pour out, the river continues to rush unending. That is wealth. That is supply. And you are part of it. Fear says, if I give, I may lose. Wealth says, as I give, I increase. For every generous act affirms your identity. It says, I have enough. I am enough. There is more where this came from. And life, hearing your declaration, answers in kind. Think of a time when you gave with joy. Perhaps a meal, a gift, a kind word, a small amount of money, or even your presence. Do you remember how light you felt? How expansive that is, the vibration of wealth flowing through you. Now contrast it with a time you withheld from fear. You may have kept the coin, but did you not feel smaller, tighter? As though you had locked yourself into a smaller container. That is not the rhythm of wealth. That is the vibration of lack. The truth is, this money, like air, must move. You do not hoard breaths. You breathe in, you breathe out. That is the rhythm of life. So too must money breathe. In and out, never stuck, never still. Say softly, now I give freely. I receive abundantly. Say it again, I give freely. I receive abundantly. And once more, I give freely. I receive abundantly. Feel the circulation. You are not cutting yourself off. you are keeping yourself in the stream. Generosity is not about grand displays. It is about resonance. It is about giving in alignment with joy, not with pressure. Sometimes it is money, sometimes it is kindness, sometimes it is time. Always it is wealth expressing itself. When you embody wealth, you realize that generosity is not a sacrifice. It is simply another way of being. Just as the sun does not withhold light, just as the ocean does not withhold waves, so too does wealth not withhold expression. Say this now: I am like the sun, I shine freely. I am like the river, I flow endlessly. I am like the earth, I give continually. Yes, that is wealth identity in motion. And notice this: the more you give, the more room you create to receive. Imagine your hands. If you hold them tight, clutching, nothing new can enter. But if you open them, both giving and receiving are possible. Wealth identity is open-handed. So when you release, you are not losing, you are making space for more. Say again: I release with joy. I receive with ease. Consider this story. A man sat beside a river with a clay jar. Each day he filled it, afraid the river would one day run dry. But the jar, once full, grew heavy, and he carried it with difficulty. Still, he feared letting go. One day, the jar cracked, spilling everything. In despair, he finally looked back at the river, only to see that it had never stopped flowing. All along, he had been burdened by the illusion of scarcity, while infinite supply rushed past his feet. So too is it with us. The jar is the hoarded wealth, the fearful clutching. The river is the divine flow, eternal, unceasing. The wealthy identity is not the one dragging a heavy jar, but the one drinking, splashing, pouring, knowing the river cannot be emptied. Say now: I am not a stagnant pond. I am a flowing river. I do not cling, I circulate. I give with joy and I receive with joy. Feel the joy of that circulation. Imagine yourself given today, not from pressure, but from freedom. Given a kind word, given a smile, given a small token of abundance, given without fear. And watch how quickly life answers. Wealth is not the end, it is the expression of who you are. It is the natural outpouring of your essence. When you embody wealth, you do not ask, should I give? You ask, how may I flow? Because as you flow, the world flows back to you. Wealth is not the end, it is the expression of who you are. And now, beloved listener, we come to the quiet homecoming. For all along, we have not been chasing wealth or learning wealth or trying to reach wealth. We have been remembering. We have been returning. Wealth is not outside of you. Wealth is not a destination, a prize, or a far-off dream. Wealth is who you are. Wealth is the natural state of your being. Close your eyes if you wish. Feel yourself seated, calm, at ease. Imagine the chair or the ground supporting you. This is wealth. Life itself, holding you, carrying you, providing for you. You are not struggling to be supported. You are supported already. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out softly. Each breath whispers, it is already mine. Say it gently. It is already mine. Again, softer. It has always been mine. And once more with a smile, it is already mine. It has always been mine. Imagine now that you are sitting in a beautiful room, simple, peaceful, perfectly arranged. There is no clutter, no striving, no urgency, only calm, only fullness. This is the vibration of wealth as natural state. You do not need to prove it. You do not need to perform it. You do not need to push for it. You simply are it. Like a tree that does not strive to grow leaves in spring, it simply grows. Like the sun that does not struggle to shine, it simply shines. Like the ocean that does not wrestle to create waves, it simply moves. So too with you. Wealth is your nature. Wealth is your rhythm. Wealth is your home. Say softly with me, I return home to wealth. I return home to supply. I return home to abundance. Yes, that is the essence. Wealth is not new, it is remembered. It is your original vibration. It is the state you were born into before fear, before doubt, before comparison. And now you are remembering it again. Feel this in your body. Quiet confidence replacing striving. No need to rush, no need to push. The wealthy identity is not frantic, not desperate, not clinging. It is calm, assured, steady. Picture yourself tomorrow morning rising again. But now you rise not into practice, not into rehearsal, but into embodiment. No effort, no pretending. You simply wake as who you are, wealth. As you brush your teeth, as you walk, as you work, as you rest, you are not trying to be wealthy. You are simply being yourself. Say again, this is my natural state. This is my true home. I am wealth effortlessly. Let these words ripple through you like waves of peace. Let them dissolve every last trace of striving. There is nothing to reach, for you are already there. Now imagine the path of your life stretching before you, and see it not as a struggle, not as a climb, but as a flowing river carrying you with ease. Every bend brings opportunity. Every current carries supply. Every step is supported. You need not force the river. You need only trust it, relax into it, flow with it. For the river is wealth, and you are already within it. Say, I live in the flow. I live in the ease. I live in the rhythm of wealth. And notice this truth. Wealth is no longer a separate topic in your life. It is no longer a category, a project, or a goal. It is simply woven into everything. When you love, you are wealthy. When you create, you are wealthy. When you walk, you are wealthy. When you rest, you are wealthy. It is not separate, it is seamless, it is you. As we bring this practice to a close, let us seal it with final affirmations. Speak them with calm certainty as one who knows it is already mine. It has always been mine. I walk in wealth. I breathe in wealth. I live as wealth. I return home to wealth. I return home to supply. I return home to abundance. This is my natural state. This is my true home. I am wealth effortlessly. And now, in this calm, in this fullness, in this knowing, you may carry it forward. This is not the end. This is the beginning of living as who you truly are. From this day on, you do not need to chase wealth. You do not need to fight for it. You simply live it, breathe it, embody it. It is not something you get, it is who you are. This is the wealth identity you carry forward.